Evening. Evening all. How we doing this evening? How we doing on Easter Sunday? How are we all doing? Let's get a few people in the building. I want to actually talk about Wilder versus Whyte. I want to go in depth and talk about it in this stream. Right? Because I actually think that fight is a very, very, very good fight. And I'm intrigued to see how that might go. And once we get about 30, 40 people in the building, I want to ask what their opinion is on it and who they think would win. Because, you see, people are very reactionary when it comes to recent fights. A lot of people looked at Dillian Whyte's last fight and are thinking now straight away he beat Deontay Wilder. But if Deontay Wilder came back and he fought whoever, I wonder would they flip the script? So to me, it's an interesting one. Just bear with me and make sure this is all good. This is all working properly. Just give me 2 secs. And make sure everything is running smooth. Yeah, looks perfect. Looks all good. So I just make sure that this is on right, actually. Apologies, people. I just need to mute this for 2 secs. Yeah, that looks about right. So yeah, we're talking Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder in this one. So the Sunday live stream, how we doing? Yes, big up to Rich every single time, man. How are you keeping, my man? Yeah, just the dream. You can keep that if you want, but I'm gone with that. The other one. The other one is Gonzo. We ain't putting that on vids no more. And someone's asking why the Michelle Joy Phelps pick. So I was going back and forth. Didn't know which one I wanted. I've been going back and forth with the avatars on here. Thinking of keeping it and going back to that. Or I was going to go and I was going to put it down as, and I might keep it as that actually. Yeah, I might keep it as that. I might leave it as that for the time being. I've just been going back and forth, picking and choosing which ones I want. So I might keep it as that. But yeah, why no more hashtag? Well, you can hashtag something else, but in terms of that specific one, that's gonzo, man. That is gonzo. After Friday, that's gonzo. That's 100% gonzo. So that's why I've got rid of that. There ain't no point keeping that one around, to be honest with you, mate. So I said just let that one go. Let that one go. Yeah, I'll keep that one. Look at that. The Coke sniffer. The Coke sniffer. Kella Sauerland. What does Michael Van Gerwen say there? LG, man, big up. Did you see Usyk's Insta story? He's bulking up now. Hope you have a good Easter. Oh, man, I hope he's not. I hope that's not true. I hope that he's only just fronting with that because Usyk at heavyweight in the 2 teens, that's an ideal weight for him, in my opinion anyway. So if I was him, I'd be advising him to stick with what he's at now, because if he packs on a load more muscle, he's going to be slower. And his whole benefit, the whole benefit of Usyk being a heavyweight, being a smaller heavyweight, is that he has more speed, mobility. If he goes and starts bulking up, that's going to hinder him. But saying that, a lot of people or a lot of fighters will bulk up if they're trying to cover an existing injury. Like, look at David Haye, right? David Haye was never a natural heavyweight, but he bulked up to get to heavyweight, right? But when he was there, he was always getting injuries. So if you look at, let's say, the shoulder, look at David Haye when he came back in 2016, how much more muscle he packed on in around that shoulder region, right? He really wanted to preserve that shoulder because that shoulder was dodgy. So for me, unless Usyk, and Usyk has had injuries, right? He's had bicep injuries. I think he's had something else as well. He's had a few injuries. So for me, that could potentially be what he's doing, that he's trying to cover up for an injury potentially. So maybe, but if he's talking about bulking, so like let's say he was 217 in his last fight. I just remember I thought he was 217. If he goes and bulks up to say 230, right? He is not going to be as effective as he is at that light at the 217. He's just not going to be as effective. So I hope he's not. I know I've seen footage of Usyk in the gym before where he's looked to be trying to gain a bit of muscle, but saying that he's come in similar-ish weight. So I hope that's not true. I hope he's just sticking at his normal kind of, two teens weight. I would say the absolute max Usyk should weigh, and this is just me, I would say the max he should weigh would be probably about 220, 222, in and around that region. That for me is the max Usyk should be coming in at. If he's coming in any heavier than that, he's giving his opponent more. He's taken away from his advantages, because Usyk's advantages is, as I said, he's faster, he can move better, he's got better mobility, he's got better stamina than a lot of the guys he fights. As I said, you start packing on more of the more muscle, then you're taking away from some of that. But like that, it could be to cover up for an injury, because Usyk has been getting injured a lot lately. You know, it's been recurrent team. Like that was how he was meant to fight Takam in his debut. Then he was meant to fight Spine, and it was all down to it. Well, I think the Spine thing was a bit dodgy, but everything else was down to injuries. It was injury, injury, injury. So that's what I could imagine. Unless he's trying to cover up some of the injuries, the bicep's been an issue for Usyk over the years. So that could be potentially what it is. But I'll have a look at that. And if I might even do a video on that. Evening to Ben, evening to Stephen. I think Ruiz versus Dillian Whyte is a 50-50. Do you know something, mate? Honestly, I would make Andy Ruiz a heavy favorite in that fight. Really. I'd be picking him every day of the week. I think just stylistically, Ruiz would have a field day with Dillian Whyte. I really do. I think stylistically, he'd have an absolute field day with Dillian Whyte in there. I feel Wilder knocks him out already. People are sleeping on Wilder because of what Fury did to him. Fury was prepared to take shots from Wilder, which I doubt most heavyweights could. I still feel as though Dillian Whyte stylistically would play into the Deontay Wilder strengths. There might be some moments in there where Wilder maybe has a few jitters, but I think that someone like Dillian Whyte, who is not as sophisticated as Tyson Fury, who is not as quick on his feet, who it just isn't the same. He might try and do what Fury did to Wilder, but he won't be able to do it as successfully. And I think with Wilder, he'd be able to land on. Like, Dillian Whyte isn't afraid to leave his chin in the air. Like, he's not afraid to take a shot. Only problem is his chin's been properly checked by Povetkin. So God knows how it's going to be. G-Man, how you doing? Big up to Randy. Me, I'm doing. It's Sunday, man. I'm doing. Kella looks like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit in there. Anisha says that. Big up to Nisha. Yeah, I like that pick. That's an underrated one of Kella. The good old coke sniffer himself, Kella Sauerland. You know, Kella Sauerland. I mean, his interviews, even if he's talking absolute garbage, you just watch them just to see the expressions. I've never seen anything like it. An announcement. Yes, peeps. This is another thing I want to talk about as well. Eddie Hearn and Sky, right? Eddie Hearn, he said, has been offered from, I think, 3 different platforms, obviously one of which is probably DAZN. He's happy with Sky, but people, I really, truly hope, and this is not me hating on Sky in any way, this is me wanting to get the best for boxing. I really, 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 really hope that he ends up leaving Sky and going to DAZN. Because that would mean a lot of things. It'd mean probably the end of pay-per-view, for at least for the most part. It'd be a big benefit to all of us. I reckon our DAZN subscriptions, for anyone who subscribed to DAZN on here, I reckon it will go up. They wouldn't keep it at £2 or €2. But definitely, it'd be a good thing for all of us. Because it would just mean that we're getting the boxing. Like, think of it like this, right? Sky subscription for everything costs a hell of a lot of money. It's dear. And a lot of the sports you get, you don't watch. You know, if you're someone like me who watches mainly F1 and mainly boxing, watch a bit of football too, you're getting a load of sports that you're not really interested in, that you're not really going to want to watch. All right. So for me, I really, really want Eddie Hearn to just go with DAZN full time and just take Matchroom UK there. Because to me, it's just like, yeah, I know it's going to be more money, but damn. Seriously, damn. I really just want them to get rid of Sky. And I think with Sky, whoever takes over, they might do what they did before Eddie Hearn and just open it up to a load of different promoters. You'll probably, the shows mightn't get better, but I'm telling you now, you might see the quality of the actual commentary improve. Because if you think about it like this, there's no need to be as biased as they normally have been, because look at how bad Sky have been over the years with commentary. if they're working with several different promoters, they won't need to be as pro this fight or pro that fight. So you might even see the commentary improve for the shows they do show on Sky. So, and they might rearrange their team because a lot of the commentators are matchroom fighters. Some of them aren't good, like Carl Froch, like Tony Bellew, etc., etc. So Sky might look at that and think, well, do we need these guys anymore? Because these are like matchroom guys. Do we need them? Maybe we could go and we could get on someone like Barry Jones. Maybe we could get, you know, David Price, someone like that on. People who are actually good boxing analysts, but don't have an affiliation with Matchroom, if you know what I mean. So it could improve. If they leave Sky, I think it'd be an improvement across the board. You might not get as competitive fights on Sky anymore, but look, it is what it is. I think, but you would see an improvement. So I really hope that Eddie Hearn goes with the zone. Big up to J-Deb. G-Man, looking forward to your assessment of Frampton and Herring, and in particular your views on Carl Frampton's height. To me, he looks exceptionally short. He looks an exceptionally short arse, very short indeed, tiny, #short arse. As I said, I met Carl Frampton in person a few years ago, and I knew Carl Frampton was small, right? I knew he was. I knew he was only about 5'5", so I wasn't surprised that he'd be shorter than me. But when I actually seen him, I was like, whoa. I was kind of like stopped and took back a bit. I was like, whoa, he is small. Like, I'm about 5'11", so I towered over Carl Frampton. And I was like, holy. And my mate, who I was with, is 6'2". So you can picture that. Like, he just absolutely dwarfed him. And I was just like, holy shit, he is small. Oh, boy, he is small. And that's why I was kind of scratching my head when I met him. Because at the time, I think that was 2018. I was like, why does he fight so much on the outside if he's so short? Like, even by like featherweight standards, he's short. I was like, Jesus, how does he? And then I kind of left it there, but I've always left it at that. I always took it from that he is very, very short, you know. And realistically, Super Bantam was probably his best division. He was just too big for that weight at the end. I remember after he lost to Warrington, he was actually talking about going back down to Super Bantam. That changed quickly. Oh, shout out to Nick. I haven't seen you actually yet in the chat. Big up to you, man. Big up G-Man and the whole chat. If you could, lads, actually smash the like button on the way in. I'm not going to say what I used to say, you know, because I know someone else says that, but it helps the channel. So big up if you could. By the way, man, #G-Mans were up. I said it earlier in the chat, and one of the guys was asking me about it. That went away on Friday and it ain't coming back. I know what that means. We'll leave it there. So yeah, that's kind of, I have to kind of reluctantly accept defeat on that bit, and that's Gonzo. So no offense, man, you didn't know, but big up to you every single time, man. Appreciate the support. You'd like to see Usyk versus Parker. That'll be a good fight. Yeah, that would be actually an intriguing fight. I think that'd actually be a really intriguing fight now, to be honest with you. I suspect that they're trying to match it as though the winner of Usyk versus Joyce. And I'm wondering what the hell. Actually, it's only I mentioned that. What's the crack with that fight? We were here in May or April. Well, we're in April now, and next month next month is May. So what's the crack with that fight? We're probably going to get that fight in June, July or sometime. Hopefully. Usyk should get the Bridger belt off Rivas while he waits. Oh no, I just couldn't care less. You have never seen me once cover that in a video, and I won't cover it in any videos because it's just a silly weight. There was no need to do that. You know, if anything, what you should have done is you should have had a look at a division in between light heavy and cruiser, because that's a big jump. Like it's amazing to me, right, that Isaac Chamberlain is ranked at Bridger weight, okay? And what's the main thing people have said about Isaac Chamberlain? That he's too small for cruiser, but he's too big for light heavy. So why the hell are you ranking him in the division above cruiser? Like, surely the common, if the WBC were thinking logically, which they don't, unfortunately, they would have said, right, maybe 175 to 200 pounds is a bit of a too big a jump. Why don't we go 175 to 187, we'll say. Maybe not 190, 187. At least that way, if they can get down to that reasonable weight, it's a bit more of a broader variety. At least that way you're not going too far out the way. But going to Bridgerweight, it's like, what? And then them saying, like, well, you don't have to fight that if you don't want to. It's just like, what the hell? Why didn't you just go for what I just said there? Change it from, add something in between light heavy to heavy. The only point is you're a light heavy, and then you're what? You don't know what you'd call it, to be honest with you. We probably would still call it Bridgerweight, but I don't know. Bridgerweight. Good old Bridgerweight. Big respect for Usyk if he comes in light against Joe Joyce. Joyce would walk him down if he doesn't respect Usyk's power. Well, with Joe Joyce, he'd need to be light, I would imagine, because he was light enough. I think he was about 215, because they've done it in kilos. And he's about 215 when he fought Joyce in the World Series of Boxing. Excuse me. When he fought Joyce in the World Series of Boxing, and he was able to use movement and counters to beat the crap out of Joe Joyce, really. So I reckon it could be something like that. For Joe Joyce. I think that if he comes in heavy for Joe Joyce, I mean, Joe Joyce has got some chin on him. And Joe Joyce's problem when they fought in the amateurs was that he was just a little bit too slow to be able to match Usyk, and Usyk was just too experienced. If Usyk's speed drops significantly, then Joyce has even more of a chance, because Joyce has improved. Like we look at that fight and it was 8 years this year. Well, yeah, 8 years this year. It's been a while. So realistically, you would like Joe Joyce has improved a good bit since then. So that's an interesting fight. That's a fight I really want to see. There's so many intrigues in it. Wilder's going to knock Whyte out. I think he will. Whyte fights aggressively anyway. He wouldn't need to copy Fury. Yeah, no, Whyte is I was amazed he came out so fiery against Povetkin. I really did think he would genuinely sit down and have a really good, think about it in the first few rounds, but he didn't. He just went in and just was like, no, I'm going straight for the jugular from the opening bell. Like when Povetkin was off balance, Dillian Whyte went in swinging. And I was looking at that, I was like, holy God. I was like, holy shit. Like this guy literally, he's wiped that knockout. He's forgotten about that knockout. Holy shit. Did I actually read that? Shit, I didn't read that. Sorry, mate. Not interested in Fury AJ fight, my man Billy Joe and Josh Taylor. Yeah, I'm looking forward to both them fights. Taylor Ramirez is going to be epic. That is not going to be a dull fight. Billy Joe Saunders, I give him, as I've said before, a better chance against Canelo than most, right? I really do. I give him a better chance against Canelo than most. Respect from the judge. I want to show you actually what I have, right? So I'm doing stream again in my bedroom, right? Going to show you something that I bought during the week, right? Don't judge me for it, but look at this. Boom. What do y'all think? What do you think of that? Big up the judge, by the way. Why are you always hating on my man Dillian Whyte? He'll stop Ruiz. It's not hating. I just look at the styles and I just don't think he beats Andy Ruiz. I picked him both times to beat Povetkin. So I don't think that it's not hating. It's just criticism. I just think from a style point of view, he wouldn't beat Andy Ruiz. I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times, but I just think if I look at the styles, I just don't see him beating Andy Ruiz. That's just me personally. Yeah, I only caught I didn't realize that was on as early as it was, mate. Do you know that? And I was watching it. I didn't cover any of the fights, but I was looking at it. I was like, these are all seriously good fighters. I mean, Uzbekistan really in the early 2000s is when we started hearing fighters. The first fighter I really heard of from Uzbekistan was Shagayev. Remember when Shagayev came about? He was one of the very first fighters from that region of the world. Now, Shagayev was never amazing at a heavyweight. He would have been a good cruiserweight if he was actually in shape. Shagayev would have been a very good cruiserweight because he had good technique. He was 5'10" and he was fat as a heavyweight. But they are producing some good talent. And I'm keeping my eye on Daniel Yusufov. That guy has potential. People tend to kind of discredit him a little bit. Not anyone I've seen, but you see like Sky and all that, be like, oh yeah, but this, that, and the other. That guy has some talent in him. They're talking about Avanesian for Yusufov next. Now that might be a bridge too far straight away, because let's face facts, Yelutsenov's not really fought anybody, that's even remotely gotten ready. His best win is Julius Ndongo. But I still have a lot of faith in Daniel Yelutsenov. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. So, G-Man, hope you're well. Yeah. How do we think Andy Ruiz can be when he's in top shape under Eddie Reynoso? I think Andy Ruiz is going to be an absolute problem under Eddie Reynoso. He's looking, from the training clips I've seen, I'm getting more and more confident in believing that he will be in good shape, that he will take his career a little bit more serious. And I think that, look, I don't begrudge him fighting Chris Arreola as a comeback fight, but I don't know. I think he'd look good against Arreola irrespective of how good he trained. I think we need to see him in there against someone like maybe a Charles Martin, a Luis Ortiz, or someone like that, to really be able to gauge how much he's improved under Eddie Reynoso. Well, you can still see it. You'll still be able to see some parts of it against Arreola. But Arreola, like I said, he's seen better days. Like he was past it in what, 2014? 24? Yeah, about 2014. So like we're in 2021 now. He's retired twice from boxing. I really can't see. I really won't be able to gauge much from this other than, I really won't be able to gauge much other than, basically just Andy Ruiz. Is he in shape? Is he not? That's really kind of all I can think of. That's genuinely all I can think of when I see it. There was a documentary on Frank Warren. There is a documentary on Frank Warren and BT Sports this week. Looked decent. Yeah, I've seen that. I'm definitely going to have a look at that. Man, I am definitely going to have a look at that. 100%. 100% I'm going to have a look at that. Wazerman Boxing sounds like they could replace. I've never heard of them, mate. I mean, honestly, I've never heard of them. You'd have to enlighten me on that. I've never heard of them. Wazerman Boxing. Are they like small hall? Are they up and coming? I reckon MTK will have a stake in some of the things that's going on, definitely. Yuri, big up to you, man. Big up to G-Man. Did you watch Israel Mazimov the other day and the rest of the Uzbek card? I watched a couple of the fights. I watched him yesterday. I thought he looked all right. I thought the Uzbekistans all looked very good. I thought they all did. I thought the guy, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but the guy at 108, he's an interesting little character. I'm keeping a close eye on him. I can't remember the guy's name. A lot of them names are hard. A lot of them names are pretty damn hard to pronounce. You know me with names. I make the easy names sound hard. Happy Easter. Hey, G-Man, happy Easter. Hopefully Andy Ruiz and Dennis Lewandowskis won't be on the same Easter egg today. Oh, no, man. Please. Andy Ruiz, stay in shape. Please, I hope he does. I reckon he looks to be in a good place with Canelo. Hearn has already taken Adam Smith at Sky for a fool, establishing the zone. What I remember when they first announced that. And do you remember it was really when they announced the zone that the quality of the Sky shows started to go down a bit. And you could really, because remember at the start of 2019, everyone was making videos saying, is there a rift between Eddie Hearn and Sky? Because Adam Smith, I think, even stated by his own admission, it was the Garcia Cheeseman card where he even stated that this isn't good enough. They really weren't happy with what was being produced. So I think that Eddie Hearn has been just trying to keep things ticking over. And basically thereafter, it's just been a case of just seeing the contract out. I mean, like, people were making videos about Matchroom and Eddie Hearn going their separate way last year, in 2020 when the zone was announced, because the zone was meant to launch in the UK and Ireland in May 2020 if things had been normal. But obviously it didn't launch until the end of the year. I can't see it going any other way. Like, I mean, why would Eddie Hearn establish the zone if he's not gonna go full time there? He's putting so much effort into the zone. It doesn't make sense to me that he wouldn't just decide to go full time with it from his UK branch. And I'm all for it if he does. I love the zone app. I love the fact it's so cheap. It won't always be that cheap, but enjoy it for the time being. It's like Al Heyman when he was giving us free boxing back at 2014, 2015. You knew it wasn't sustainable, but you were just like, I'm going to enjoy it while I have it. You know, sort of way. So he was buying up all that airtime and he was putting all these fights on paper, or not on paper, on free TV. Good fights. You knew it wasn't sustainable, but you said, just to hell with it. We'll take it while we can get it. You know, we know it's not going to last forever, but whilst we have it, enjoy it. And that's what I'm thinking. If Eddie leaves Sky, I think MTK will do a deal to get their shows on there. And I like the MTK shows, I have to say. I really do. I like them. MTK won't go to Sky. It's interesting. MTK, would they go to Sky? I reckon that, well, see, they put the golden contract on Sky, so they've already kind of got a foot in the door. So who knows? 34 in the chat, 46 in the chat. Lads, if you could please smash the like button. I'm not going to say it, but you already has it there on screen. I'm just going to say it. And shout out to Tony Boswell every time. Big up to you, my man. Happy Easter, G-Man in the chat. You need a PayPal account. Would like to start helping the channel grow. I do have one, man, but it's honestly, man, like, I am happy if you just like the video. Honest to God, like that. I'm happy that you just watch. Seriously, that is literally, I'm happy with that. I'm 100% happy with that. But no, I appreciate the support. Appreciate you all coming by. I big up to Tony every single time, man. Hope you're keeping well. Hope everything is good. And, you know, big up to you for locking in. Let's enjoy this stream. Let's enjoy the next hour. I big up to Jeff as well. Big up to you, man, every time. I think pay-per-view business is stupid because they expect you to pay-per-view the fight, show them a week later on Sky BT for free. So why would you even bother? Yeah. You know, that's the thing as well. Like, I mean, like, for if you really want to watch it and you want to watch it in full, like, you just wait a day, or you not even, like, I mean, if you go on YouTube 5-10 minutes after the fight's ended, someone's uploaded that fight, and you have about roughly, you get a bit of time before it's taken down. So literally, that's another thing about it as well. Like, if you go on YouTube, for example, and you typed in Carl Frampton versus Jamal Heron, and you just filter the 2 last hour straight after the fight, there was uploads of the full fight with commentary. And I'm not talking about, like, you know, what's the guy's name? I'm not talking about, you know, just YouTubers commentating. I'm talking about, you know, Channel 5 commentary or ESPN Plus commentary. G-Man, I had some thoughts about his height when I first met Frampton. Lovely fella, though. Yeah, like, he's a cool guy, definitely. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I was just surprised how short he was. It was surprising because I've known people who are very short in my life, but, you know, I just wasn't expecting it. You know, well, I got Frampton's autograph. A big up, man. I don't think I have any fighters' autographs. I'm pretty sure. No, I don't have any fighters' autographs. No, definitely don't. None that I know of, anyway. Raven told G-Man to take the hashtag off. No, she didn't. Big up to Raven Chapman, by the way, for coming on the channel. That was big. That was a good interview. That was an easy interview. You know, she's cool. She's chatty. So it made that a hell of a lot easier. You know, that was fun. And definitely, I'll get some more female fighters on the channel and do some more interviews with them. Definitely. Big up to G-Man. What's the new hashtag? I don't know. I don't think I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, mate. I used that G-Man's Rocks pretty much from July to now. And now that's gonzo. So I don't know. I don't know what the next hashtag will be. Maybe I'll find it when I eventually get to it. God only knows what it's going to be. I'll figure it out. I will find some new hashtag. For the time being, we'll just go. Will we even go hashtag G-Man? We'll just go hashtag G-Man or something like that. But we'll find something. We'll find a new one. We'll find a better one. You know? That's the great thing. We'll find a new one. Usyk said he wants 97, Joe Joy 7, piss take. Yeah, that's definitely a piss take. I think that's probably just a bit of BS. Anyone know if there'll actually be fans at the AJ Fury fight? Well, if it's in the Middle East, definitely. They'll definitely do fans. In terms of UK, I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure if they do it in the summer, they'll be able to get a majority of fans in, but it won't be anything like full capacity. No way. I can't see it. UK government found to let 8,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. Yeah, like, it'd be something like that, like 8,000. It wouldn't do. It just wouldn't do. They wouldn't do it. And if they did, they'd be probably extortionate the price for tickets. Because last night there was 100 VIP fans allowed in, and they were probably dear those tickets. I really don't know why you really. I mean, maybe for a big card or something like that, but yeah, I don't know. That was a bit weird one. Don't see Usyk lasting up there with the heavies. Oh, I can see Usyk causing some trouble, mate. I can definitely see Usyk causing trouble there. Otto Wallin opened up to fight Whyte. He said it'd be a fun fight. That would be an interesting little scrap. Otto Wallin's useful. He is. No, Otto Wallin's definitely a useful fighter. No, Otto Wallin is definitely a very useful fighter. So I'll definitely be interested to see if that happens. It might make actually a good. They could do that. They could potentially do that. God knows. Stranger things have happened. Usyk got shafted by WBO, but the truth, he hadn't earned a crack at the unified heavyweight titles compared to the heavyweight division to Holyfield's. So what? He only had one fight, and he was mandatory, pretty much. Happy Easter, big up to Jezza. Happy Easter, Andy Ruiz and Dennis. Oh yeah, I think I read that already. I was reading about that. Big up to Jake. So Fury and AJ been in talk since January, but they've been talking about this fight since when? God knows. Since last summer. Since even if it's made in July, that's 2 months. They are cutting it fine. Wish they would just get it sorted. So do I, mate. I wish they just get it sorted as well. Realistically, will Wilder Whyte happen? Dillian Whyte definitely wants that fight. Dillian Whyte definitely does. In terms of Wilder, we need to see where he's at, because every time he gives an interview or he speaks about something, it's just like, what the hell? It's just like, what the hell, man? He just says some strange stuff. Usyk is at the end of his career. Wouldn't be surprised if Joyce stops him. I don't know if I'd necessarily say Usyk's at the end of his career necessarily, but definitely he's had a few more injuries now lately. Definitely. He's definitely had a few more injuries, so I wouldn't say he's at optimum. What's next for Povetkin? Retire, definitely. I hope he does. I really do. I hope he retires. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, but I don't want to see Povetkin get bashed up again. And if he does have a comeback fight against, or maybe a farewell fight in Russia, hopefully against someone who is not as formidable as someone like a Dillian Whyte or someone like that. Maybe, God forbid, a Price rematch or something like that. But that's what I think. Either retire, or if he has to have one last fight, hopefully a nice. He's due us. He can give him a soft touch for his last fight, because he's not at world level anymore. I don't want to see him get bashed up. I really don't. Can Madrimov and and Kazakh. No, I can't pronounce it. Who was on the Frampton card, defeat Charlo or top 50. I know the guy you're referring to, and he did look good. Charlo, I mean, God knows, this year, that's ambitious. That's ambitious. That's very ambitious. I don't know about that. Where's Gassiev? He's apparently found a new promoter or manager, so we should see him soon enough. I like Gassiev. 47 in the building, please, if you could. Yelusinov is from Kazakhstan, I think. Yeah, no, he is. He is. Oh, shit. Yeah, I said he was from Uzbekistan. Yeah, that's my bad. Shit. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, no, thanks for that, mate. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, love those comments. Keep them coming, mate. Keep them coming. Thanks for that, as Tyann Boot would say. Thanks for that, by the way. What are your thoughts on Keyshawn Davis? Yeah, he looks a shout. He looks a good little prospect. I was watching him yesterday. He's an interesting little watch. He's an interesting watch, definitely. Yeah, he didn't look great in the Whyte rematch. I think it's the end of the road. Yeah, but he didn't look great in the first fight either, mate. You have to remember that. Like, he just looked a shell of himself, even in the ring. People can look at the knockout and say it was a well-timed shot, and it was. All those things and more. It was very well-timed. It was a good right. It was a good uppercut. But look at what he looked like prior to that. Like, he did not look like himself whatsoever. So for me, Dillian Whyte first fight, as much as Povetkin, the knockout was great and all that, he showed that he is a fighter who has seen better days. And as I said, surely his corner must have known, because they were quick to throw in the towel. Surely that would have shown up in sparring. You know, I always find it amazing when you see a fighter in there on fight night, and obviously they're going to turn around and say they had a great camp, etc., etc. But when a fighter turns up on fight night and their timing's off, their reflexes are off, they're kind of all over the place in the ring, surely that has to show up in training camp. It has to. And I'm convinced that the trainers know about that, and they know we have a guy in here who, yes, he's got the power, but if he doesn't land it soon, he's going to get picked apart. And I'm sure Team Povetkin looked at that and saw, you know what, he just doesn't have it. They were ready with the towel pretty quickly, and rightfully so. I didn't want to see Povetkin get laid out. Golden Mike, big up man. Yep, he should pack up. He had a great run. Yeah, you know, Povetkin was, look, yeah, he's had the issues with the drug tests and all that, which is bad. But in terms of him as a fighter, I always loved watching Povetkin. Like, watching Povetkin fight when he was in his peak, which is kind of like 2013, 2016, they were just like, to watch Povetkin then, he was just fun to watch. He was knocking guys out left, right, and center. He was explosive. He could be hurt. He was just, loved watching Povetkin fight. Always did. Why would Wilder and Whyte happen? Was never made 3 years ago when he had the WBC belt and BC belt. And Whyte was number one. Ain't gonna happen now. While Whyte is waiting for a title, Wilder turned down 25 for the Fury. I think, like, if they wanted to do an interim title or something like that, it potentially could. I mean, God knows what is going to happen. God knows how long it's going to be before Dillian Whyte gets that title shot, and God knows what Deontay Wilder is going to do with himself, whether he's going to fight again. Do you want me to be 100% honest? I don't think. Look, I'd love to see this fight. I would, right? I'd love to see this fight, but I don't think we're going to see Wilder ever again in the ring. Something in my gut is telling me that. Don't think we'll see him in the ring again. How much would it cost Eddie Hearn to get the Wilder fight the Whyte? Probably about that, in around that 8 figures. You'd be looking in around 8 figures. Oh yeah, they're the guys who teamed up with Kella on screen there. They're the old coke sniffer. Kalla Sauerland. Big up to Kalla. I like that avatar. I'm thinking, I'm not going back to the old one. I'm thinking, it from now on, I'm going to stick it with that or that. And I'm thinking keep it at that, because that's funny. I like this one. That's a hell of a pick. You think WBC would make Fury versus Whyte if AJ falls through? They'll definitely make it. They'll definitely try and get that fight over the line. Dillian Whyte will be pushing them like God knows. What happened to the guy who beat AJ in the amateurs and beat Tom Little? Oh, the Romanian guy. Is that the Romanian guy? No. Who beat? Oh, I remember the guy. I can't remember. I know the guy now you're mentioning. I remember the guy. I just can't think of his name. I forget. I don't know what he's done, but I remember he beat Tom Little on that card. I can't remember what is he doing. He stopped Tom Little. I can't remember. I'm sure Andy Ruiz has earned a few Easter eggs. Man, been training like a beast. Yeah, he is. I'll give him. The more I see him, the more I'm looking at him. The more I'm just like, yeah, you are looking in a. You know, you can see that he's definitely looking better. That he's in better nick. Definitely. Big up to Lee. Yes, G man. Every time, man. Big up to you. Absolutely big up every single time. Glad you're in the building, mate. You should check out the quality of the undercard on Conor Benn's next fight. Lots of female prospects. DGAF about Sky subscriptions badly shortchanged. Lots of female fights. Oh, I thought you said prospects. Man, you see, I read these things too quick. Now we've got Savannah Marshall. Listen, she's fighting. She's defending her title. And we got Barbara versus. No, we don't have Ball. We have Courtney versus Bridges. I got Bridges in that fight. That's going to be a little fun fight to watch. But I definitely have Bridges in that fight. Matchroom deal ends next month, but AJ has until July. Yeah, I can't see Matchroom and things staying there. Oh, big up to Unrivaled. Shout out to Mark. The chat just dropped right down. We got Unrivaled in the building. And yes, he's naming a guy, Majimov. That first name I'm not going to try, but Majimov, that's the guy's name. And did I get that name right? Yes, I did. And guess what's happening in May? Nonito Donaire coming back. Who is he fighting? Obale. something Obale. That's how you pronounce it, isn't it? That's how you pronounce it. Shout out to Intangible as well. Big up to Intangible every time. Hell of a channel. Every single time. Massive shout out to Intangible. And to George, salute G-Man. Salute to you, my man. Every time. Majimov is the guy you were talking about. Yeah, he got the fight versus Fedosov. I think I got that name right. Say nothing. I think I got that name right. Fedosov, soon on the zone card. See, the names are improving, mate. The names, me and names are improving. They're not as bad as they used to be. They're not as bad as they used to be. If Eddie stays with stays with Sky in the UK, but turns the Zone US, it's a clear conflict of interest. Yeah, I just can't see the logic behind him doing that. Why would he go with? Why would he have the two going? And like at the end of the day, Sky wouldn't be happy with that because they want to be the main guys. No, I didn't get the name right. Fuck. Well, was I close? Was I close enough? There we go. Was I close enough? G-Man, is there an argument to say Canelo style suits Billy Joe's very well? I don't necessarily know about that, but I think that Billy Joe has the style that can offset some of Canelo's strengths. I think that Canelo, his body punching is going to cause Billy Joe issues. So when I see Billy Joe looking in good shape, I think you're going to need to be in good shape because you are going to get hit to the body a lot. A whole fucking heap. You are going to get hit to the body because Canelo is lethal to the body, right? So for me, you need to make sure, and he looks in good nick. I'm very happy to see that Billy Joe seemingly is taking this. I really am happy. I really am happy to know Billy Joe is taking it. I can't wait to see it. I really do believe I'm not picking Billy Joe outright, no way. But I definitely, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is going to be a competitive fight throughout. We are not going to see a 118, 110 scorecard. That's deserving. We might see one, but it might not, but it won't be deserved, if you know what I mean. We're going to see a competitive fight. Definitely. AJ is looking in great shape. Yeah, no, he is. He definitely looks in good nick. I suspect AJ is going to come in the mid 240s for this fight, I would imagine. G-Man, when are you ready? Or when are you ready, G-Man? I can get Coach Asgi on your show, chat about Billy Joe and Josh Taylor. He's always welcome to come on, man. Anytime. He's welcome to come on anytime. We can talk about Taylor. We can talk both those guys I'm interested in. Both those guys I will be happy to talk about. You know, Taylor Ramirez, man, that fight is going to be so fun. That is just, I can't wait for that fight. I personally think G-Man has the best boxing channel on YouTube. Man, I appreciate that. I do genuinely appreciate that, man. There's a lot of good channels out there as well, though. There really is. Like, we've got Unrivaled, Intangibles in the building. You've got guys like D, Ade, Hatman, and there's loads of them. So, man, there's absolutely loads. There's absolutely loads of them out there. So, big up to all them guys. Shout out to Unrivaled every single time as well. If Eddie goes with the zone, there's no way AJ Fury won't be pay-per-view. I don't really know how they'll swing it. They will definitely try and do pay-per-view, but I just don't know how they'll swing it. It's weird. They'll figure out a way. G-Man, Hatman, Blue, top 3 channels for me, no particular order. There you go. Big up to Dell, Blue Collar Sports TV. I don't know if he's in the building, but I love Dell's videos. Yeah, I could watch Dell's ranting videos. When Dell goes off on a rant, I could just listen to him. He's one of the few guys I just listen to rant because his rants are just so good. I remember when he done I can't do a stream without mentioning this guy, but I remember when he done a rant on Lovejoy when the Lovejoy Allen fight was announced, and I was listening to it, and me and him done videos at the same time, and I was just like, yeah, this is it. Like, Dell's a lot more. I can be kind of a lot, like, I'll rant and I'll say this, but Dell will just say, this guy's a fucking joke. Whereas I'd be like, yeah, this guy's definitely got a padded record, to say the least, that he's not really fought anybody. This is a poor opponent. Whereas Dell would just be like, no, he's just a joke. I'm a little bit more, what's the word, libertarian or diplomatic or something like that. I won't go in as hard as that. New hashtag every single time. What, like, someone actually commented, I think I pinned their comment on like all the on all the like little things I'd say in videos over the years. I'll actually see if I can find it. I think I pinned it. Yeah, someone commented and he said, hashtag G-Man's Rocks, won't use that. Hashtag King of Rip Jeans. Hashtag Geography Whiz. Hashtag Mr. Ali Drew. Hashtag, oh yeah, hashtag Horse Racing Betting Wizard. All right. Hashtag I met Frampton in Belfast on the Fury show. Hashtag live stream legend. That was it. Like literally everything I've kind of said over the years, he kind of put it into one big hashtag. So fair play to him. Big up to him. Hashtag the King of Rip Jeans. I don't know. Maybe not. Do I watch Sporting Icons? Yeah, no, I'm subscribed to Sporting Icons. I watch his videos. What happened to the hashtag? It's a bit of a... I'm not going to go into it, mate, but it's not that I don't like the hashtag. It's not that I don't like that specific saying. It's just... I don't know. It's a long story. It's just... It's not worth it. It's not here. G-Man going to turn full-blown. Never going to happen. But I am definitely going to get some more female fighters on. Definitely. 100%, mate. 100%. Big up from Canada. There we go. Big up to Mike. Shout out to you every single time, my man. Who else do we have? We have why is it when us guys want to support female boxing, we get called simped? It's like we all don't want to get into their knickers, which is ridiculous. It's caveman style thinking. I don't know. I don't mind. Like I cover this. I've covered a few women's fights on this card, and look, I do a mixture. I'm not just going to interview females. I'll try and interview as many guys as I can. I do both. You know, it's no big deal. Hey G-Man, are you a boxer or a trainer? Just curious because I don't know your backstory. I'm not a trainer. I wouldn't be against training fighters. I'd love to go into that and try and just attempt to do it. Maybe like amateurs or something like that, just to see how I get on. No, I don't train fighters. I haven't boxed. When's the last time I really boxed? Like I haven't sparred since March last year. It's been about a year since I sparred. Don't know if I'll box. Well, I won't box again. I know that, but I don't know if I'll be sparring again. I done fuck all as an amateur. I'll just put it to you like that. I wasn't good enough, but I know what I'm talking about. Put it like that. So that's kind of where I came from with this. With the backstory to YouTube, literally for about 2 years, I decided I was like, I want to make videos, and then I just said, fuck it, why don't I? For about 2 years, I was thinking about it, and then I just said, fuck it, I'll do it, and it's been going. Oh, as you can tell, it's not been going too bad. You know, it's doing all right. You know, what does that say? Whyte the Cam Man. Oh, you mean Dillian Whyte? I was wondering what you were saying about that. Oh, Whyte Wilder would be crazy. They won't do it. That would cost way too much money. Yeah, we got lads and lasses 66 in the chat. If you could, last time I'll ask for now, smash the like button. We got 39 likes. If we can get 50 likes, I'll be a happy boy. You know, I'll be chuffed to bits. Honestly, I would be chuffed to bits if I can get 50 likes. I'd like to see Whyte versus Bryan for the WBA. Trevor Bryan is not really. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't rate Trevor Bryan too highly, to be honest with you. Seriously, it's not really my kind of. I don't think that would be a good fight personally. Whyte wins, but I don't hate Bryan. He'd give a good go. Yeah, he would give a good go, but you got Don King, Eddie Hearn working with Don King. Could you imagine co-promoting with Don King? I think he's done that before, though. I'm pretty sure he's done that before. Look at the boat train. AJ seems in better shape, and Fury's eye could be a problem. Yeah, Fury's eye is always going to be an issue. Fury's eye is always going to be an issue. It's always, like I've said it before, Vitaly Klitschko, that eye was still causing him problems in terms of when Kevin Johnson was landing jabs on it in 2011, and you could still see it was cutting a little bit. I appreciate the shout out, mutual respect, man. Big up Intangible every time. And although I was listening to Mark's stream all night last night, Intangible pretty much summed up the whole of last night's fights in one massive sentence. Like you were on form, Intangible. Like I just wasn't competent, but I was listening to you guys on the panel last night, and Intangible was on form. To make known, but he was on form. Matchroom owned the darts franchise. They could take it to the zone if they want. See, the problem with that is, right? The problem with that is that the darts have their own app for watching it. So it goes directly to the PDC. I think it's called PDC.TV. So it's their own streaming app. Now, you only get, as far as I'm aware, you only get the European events, which aren't televised. They're streamed. And you get the behind closed doors darts, which was happening even before lockdown. And they're streamed. You don't get you don't get like the TV shows. So they could potentially do something like that where they add darts to it. So you get the main TV cards. Sky won't want to lose darts. They won't, because they get very good views on Sky. They won't want to lose them because they're already sharing the darts with ITV. They will not want to lose the darts. They get very good views on that. So they definitely won't want to lose that. What? Well, big up to Brennan. I guess you don't like me, G-Man. Man, I haven't seen any of your comments, to be honest with you, mate. There's that many of them. I just have to read them at a time. Let me know what you want me to ask and leave me a comment. I'll read it next once I get down the bottom of the chat. Anyway, shout out to Phil Mitchell. Remember, lads, never date a cross-eyed woman. She might start seeing some. Big up to Phil Mitchell, you know. Big up to Phil from East End. You're nearly at 4K. What would you like to get to by the end of the year? 7, realistically. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know, but I'd love to get to 7 by the end of the year. Maybe 6 is more realistic, but I'd love to be able to get to 7K by the end of the year. Seriously, like 5K by kind of mid to late summer, but I'd love to get to 7K by the end of the year. Maybe 6 is more realistic, but you never know. Stranger things have happened, you know. I could do a WTF video and it could blow up and get 50,000 views. You know, sort of way. I've got Big Dan helping me out with the thumbnails now, and he's doing a very good job on them. So you never know. You need, like, you can get one big video and you might not even pretend to be big and it could get you a load of subscribers. So it just depends. But I'd love to get to 7 by the end of the year. Personally, that's a goal. 7 by the end of the year. If I don't, I don't. If I do, happy days. 6 would probably be more realistic goal. But stranger thing, you never know. Definitely want to end the year plus 5,000. That's a given. That's a given. And I think another thing I want is to regularly be able to get about between 80 to 100 people in the building for these live streams. So like when I started doing these live streams properly back in the summer, 20 people for me would be good. Now I'm getting, like, look, there's 70 in the building now, 76 in the building now. So if I can keep getting them, that's kind of what I want to do. And obviously get more interviews with both male and female fighters, you know. So that's pretty much the plan for the year moving forward. I think Parker beats Chisora. Parker has quick hands when he lets his shots go. I'm still scratching my head as to how. I'm scratching my head as to why Buddy McGurk. What did Derek Chisora want to do with Buddy McGurk? Like, for me, it's just, yeah. Like, I just don't understand it. Buddy McGurk is such a defensively minded jab kind of trainer. Chisora is War Chisora. I'm just wondering how are they gonna balance it? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna look like? It's gonna be weird. Have you heard about the new fight, Johnny Sins versus Charlo? I want to see Brian Castano versus Charlo. That's the fight I want to see. Can you kindly, lads? Can you kindly? Just leaving it there. Just leaving it there. Can you kindly? Where are we? I went here. We're not too bad. Female boxing is poor product. If you're interested in it for reasons beyond, it's for reasons beyond the quality of fighters. I find certain female fights fun though to watch, just from an entertainment standpoint. I'm not looking necessarily at the quality. I'm just looking at it. I'm just thinking, yeah, it's not too bad. It's a bit of entertainment. I just decided to hell with it. I'm just gonna start covering it basically. That's literally kind of where I went with that. So that's what I'm doing now with it. And like I said, like that interview I done with Raven Chapman on Tuesday, I had fun doing that. Like that was easy. That was a nice interview because she's real chatty. So it was just nice, you know, sort of way. Like, it was just, she kind of keep the conversation going real well as well. So it was just nice and straightforward, nice and easy. They might not all be like that, but you know, I wonder who, if I ever got an interview with Daniel Dubois, had I done it live, oh my God, it'd be like, right, so let's talk. Yeah. Right, well, this is going to be a fun half hour, isn't it? That's what it would kind of be like. It's not about how many subscribers you have. As long as you have fun, followers will come. Exactly. Like, hey, look, I enjoy doing this, mate. I do this for the fun of it, as you know. Like, happily stream. I don't normally do it, but I could do a 2-hour stream twice a week. But I don't normally do it. Sometimes I just think an hour and a bit is enough. Who's the best guy? Who was the guy who beat Wilder in the amateurs? What became of him? Oh, what's the guy's name? He's a cruiserweight. No, he's a heavyweight. Ramon. Is it Ebony Ramon or something like that? His name is. He's fighting in Russia now, so he's kind of just up and coming at the minute. Hello, King of Ripped Jeans. Even the King of Ripped Jeans, I'm thinking of getting rid of, mate, to be honest with you. Make it 60 likes. How many likes do we have? I hate constantly saying it, but it does. 61. Boom, we got there. But it really does help the channel, mate. Like, you've no idea how much it does genuinely help the channel. It really, truly does. It just makes it recommends your channel more. It just helps out so much. Like, it really, really does. It really does. Trevor Bryan is rubbish. Struggled with a 42-year-old Stavern. He hadn't fought, I think, in nearly 2 years, Trevor Bryan. So he hadn't. Yeah, Intangible has it there. Trevor Bryan had one fight in 3 years. Cannot see it. Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that. Oh, by the way, be safe. Fuck. Yeah, be safe. Thanks for that. Adam Smith. Oh, Jesus, could you imagine? He's commentated on the darts as well, actually, that guy. He's commentated on that darts as well. I'll try my best to get Sandy, Ryan, or Ellie Hopkins or Hannah Jones on the show as well. Ellie Hopkins I've seen a few times. I've seen Sandy Ryan's interview on IFL. Hannah Jones doesn't ring a bell, to be honest with you, mate, but I'll definitely have to look her up as well. I've seen Ellie Hopkins a few times. She's actually quite cool. So we'll see how she goes. It's crazy how Matchroom own the sport and darts. Yeah, it is. But they revolutionized darts. Like, what Matchroom have done for the sport of darts is crazy. You know, darts was going nowhere fast, like, realistically, until Barry Hearn took over. And look what he's done with darts. Like, it went from being done in little small halls, basically, to now it's filling out the O2, you know, because they've done it right. And the problem with darts is that the players are not exactly the sharpest tools in the boxes. Like, people complain about like boxers and all, but it can be very cringy listening to interviews with darts players when you hear them go off, to be honest with you. But in terms of how they promote with it, Barry Hearn's done a great job with it. He's done a hell of a job. Where are we at? I keep losing track of where I am in the chat, like, every single time. Where are we there? Oh, there we go. I think you will get 7K. Your streams are great. I deserve the 7K. That's the goal for 2021. If I can get to that, I will be so happy. And even if, look, growth is growth anyway, so I'm happy with growth, irrespective. But that would be lovely if I could get to that. That's a little milestone I set. Gina, you think Wilder's the biggest puncher today? Surely he has to be. In terms of biggest puncher in the heavy, yeah, I would say he is. In terms of pound for pound, oh Lord, who you'd have to put Beterbiev up there, have to put Inoue up there. There's a lot. If you're talking about pound for pound, There's a lot of hard punches pound for pound. You'd have to have Beterbiev and Inoue up there. Definitely. You definitely have to have them guys up there. Who else? I'm probably missing a few, but Tank Davis has got to be up there. Pound for pound, there's a lot of hard punchers there in boxing, a hell of a lot. And some of them might not even be the best in the division, if you know what I mean. Like, but definitely for me, Wilder is one of, if not the hardest. It's like a freight train. It's just that Fury. Yeah, Fury done a very good job moving to take the sting out with the shots. You know, he never caught Wild never caught him with full power in that rematch. He caught him in the first fight, but in the second fight he didn't. Taylor versus Jonas. Yeah, that's going to be a fun little scrap. I watched their fight in London 2012. Taylor dropped Jonas a couple of times. Well, she gave her counts a couple of times. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, basically. G-Matt, will you not do any discussion if Mark invites, or any panel discussions to speak like Unrivaled does? I have done them. I very seldom do them these days, to be honest with you. I kind of see, like, I've done them a few times and they've gone a bit astray, where just like random people have been joining and just trying to plug weird stuff. That's kind of why I had to be a bit reserved about doing it, because I don't know exactly what I'm going to get. Like, I remember someone joined that was like, I'm an MMA guy and come look at me. I was just like, come on, like, what the hell? So I had to be a bit kind of reserved about doing them sometimes. But like, if I was planning on doing it with like Mark and the guys, I just send them links on Twitter or something, to be honest with you. I just do it like that. I will eventually do it. Get guys back on it, like Dylan, Mark, and D or someone. But I've done one, I think, this year. I will probably do one eventually, in time. It's just, I think, I need to really, like, some days I just come on and I'm just like, yeah, we'll get a panel. Other days I'm just like, no, just talk with me, basically. That's the guy's name, by the way. Hey man, who are you, Irish fella? Well, G-Man Boxing, that's the name of the channel. That's what I talk about. We talk boxing on here. What's that say? G-Man, do you know, I didn't know that he got a bit off by Ponce de Leon. I know he had some injuries from the bike riot or bike crash he had before he turned pro, but I did not know that. Didn't know he got that bitten off. I'm thinking of buying Lee the Alcoholic Froch t-shirt from Tie and Boot. Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that. He's selling some shit merch. Tie and Boot streams, man, they are funny as hell. Tie and Boot is just, I don't know why. I could just listen to him talk for he's just so funny. Like, I listen to him just purely for comedy. Do you ever think Daniel Dubois will get out of his shell? If so, you like out of his shell. If you like, that's what you call it. It's hard to say. Like, I mean, I was very shy. I'm still a bit shy, to be honest with you, at times. You might not think it because I talk a lot on here, but I would be quite a shy guy. But I wouldn't be that shy, obviously. Jesus, no. I've known people who are painfully shy in my life, like worse than me. Some of them do, some of them don't. It just depends. I think Dubois, with the right environment. So like I said that him with kind of Ben Davison would be good, because Ben Davison is quite a knowledgeable guy and he's quite an out there guy. Having guys like Josh Taylor, Lee McGregor, the boys in camp with Daniel Dubois may help just get him a little bit more in touch with himself, getting more out there. So that's why I said I would have liked to have, seen him go there. But like, Mark Tibbs could do a job as well. You don't know. Please interview Dubois. Well, that would be a hard interview. I think that would be a hard interview. Big up to Alan Orr. Thank you. Just subscribed, man. Glad to hear it. Always happy to hear new subscribers and see them in there, man. Big up to you. Big up to you every time. As Nick says, welcome. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. Big up. A big up to Johnny boy. How are you, my man? Happy Easter, G-Man, buddy. God bless. Big up to you, Johnny. I hope you're keeping well. And happy Easter to you too, my man. I hope you're keeping well as well. Big up to you. And anytime, mate. Don't worry about it. Anytime. I was always a little shy. Now I smoke a lot of weed. It's not something I do. No, like, in terms of shyness, like I've always been like that. Like if people met me in real life, they'd probably be taken aback by how quiet I can be. Um, I don't know. I've always been like that. Lately, I've not been as bad. I think probably down to YouTube has helped me with that. But I've never been like Dubois level shy. Like if you start talking to me like I'm a chatterbox, I'll start talking no problem. But I've never been one to, I don't know. I've always been like that. It's just weird. It's just weird. And like lately, like after last week, because last week was a shit week. I'll just be frank. Last week really got me fucked up big time. So it's not I'm still chatty, so it's not too bad. I'm going a bit off there. Leave it at that. Is Dave Allen coming back? Hell yeah, I reckon he's coming. Like the guys are already talking about getting in shape in case the phone rings. That is literally that means he wants to come back. He's thinking of coming back. So for me, Dave Allen is likely going to come back. Against who, I don't know, but I suspect Dave Allen will make a comeback. Look, from a health point of view, I don't want to see Dave Allen come back because Dave Allen's taken a lot of punishment in his career. He's had a lot of tough fights. I don't want to see a guy get hurt. Whether I might not really like Dave Allen as a person, I wouldn't have much time for him. Just honestly, I wouldn't. But do I want to see him get hurt? No. He had a bad fight where he took a lot of shots and he had his tongue cut open against Ortiz. Took that terrible beating against Yoka. And I mean, that's one of those fights you watch it and you just think, my God, how many years has that taken off your career? It was really bad. It was really hard to watch that fight. He was getting hit a lot against Nick Webb. And bear in mind, that was only 6 weeks removed. 6 weeks removed from a beating like that. He was in there against Nick Webb. Then he had that fight against David Price where he was taken to hospital. It's just, for me, when I hear about that and see that, it's just like, why do you want to come back? What is inspiring you to come back? And when they were talking about Dubois versus Allen and this guy, it's just like, why? You have your houses. You can be coaching these fights. You don't need to come back. It's not me saying I don't want you to come back because I don't like her. It's because I'm just genuine. Like you've taken so many shots, so many big beatings. I don't want to see you go in there and get put in with someone like, let's say for arguments that they put me there with Babic or Hrgovic. You're going to take a big beating in that fight. You can see that his speech has deteriorated from when he turned pro. There's interviews with Allen in 2012, 2013, and you can see clearly and hear clearly he talks a lot more clear then. And he's only a year and a bit older than me. He's about a year and a half older than me. I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see a man take those kind of, if he doesn't have to, even if he does, like, if he's set up and he's good, then how do I word? There's other things to do other than box. Do you know what I mean? There's other things to do other than box. As if you're solvent and you're good, there's so much more. And Alan, as I've said several times, is a very good pundit. He understands the sport of boxing. He would be good doing broadcasting, having him on Sky, having him on DAZN. I mean, for God's sake, Paul Smith was commentating on DAZN last night. Holy mother of Jesus, that was terrible. Dave Allen would do a much better job. Dave Allen will do a much better job. Who wins? Lopez versus Loma in the rematch. I'll go with Lopez. No, I'm still going with Lopez. There we go. Bantamweight division is a stacked division. I mean, Rigo versus Inoue. You've also got Casemiro there. You've got, who else do you have? You've loads in there, man. Jean-Real Casemiro versus Naomi Inoue. That's a fight I would have loved to see. We're not seeing that. We had that fight penciled in for April 2020. Do you remember that? And then that fight went and fell by the wayside. And that fight is seemingly dead in the water. Inoue is going to fight his mandatory, who was, I believe, a fighter from the Philippines. I think he is. Forget the guy's name. But Naoya Inoue, I think his future lies at 122. I reckon he's going to move up quite soon. I would pick Canelo to beat Froch. Froch was a tough one. Yeah, I'd pick Canelo to beat Froch as well. But someone commented there, and he is spot on. Alan Orr actually. Calzaghe laughs at Froch. Calzaghe would have beaten Froch every day of the week. Every day of the week. Doubt you'll get interviews because Coogan gets them all. It doesn't get them all. I can still get some interviews, mate. I can still get them. You know, I still get the interviews on here. You know, I think because like my style of interviewing is I just try my best to. I try and get it to come across as just like a chat as opposed to an interview. So like I'd ask them a few questions about like your boxing career and your background and stuff like that. But then it'd be just like kind of, you know, so like who do you like in boxing? Who do you and what do you do if you weren't a boxer? Do you know what sort of way? Like I just fun kind of things like that. Like you don't want it to be too serious because it's like almost like a work interview where it's be like just have a bit of a laugh and just there you go. Can you imagine an outgoing Daniel Dubois? That's the thing I can't. I can't. That's the funny thing. I actually can't take an outgoing Daniel. I can't imagine what it would be like. He's just, I've got so used to Dubois the way he is. I can't really envision a Dubois who is outgoing. Do you know that, lads? I actually can't. It's weird. I don't know why. You can just, when I think of it now, you'd imagine Dubois coming in with the room and, all right. Oh, he wouldn't say it like this, just to be it like this, but imagine, all right, boys, how are we all doing? I just couldn't picture that. It just, you know, it just looked bizarre. I remember picking Dubois originally. And then a minute I went and kind of thought about it. I was like, oh, you fucked up there. You should have picked Joyce to win. I went back and I was like, no, Joyce has got this. And he did. Big up to Joe Joyce. Do you think the growing appeal of YouTube fights and old-timers come back is a sign that the current fighter appeal is not what it once was? I think so, unfortunately. I do think so, unfortunately. It like Mike Tyson and Roy Jones can come back and do better numbers than some of the guys. And I think it doesn't help that you hear some of the guys today say, you know, oh, you need to cross the street, or we're not doing this, or we're doing this under. It's like, come on, mate. Like, fuck. The problem in the 90s with some of the big heavyweights was that it wasn't that the fights didn't get made. They did. They got made late. But because some of them lost. Like Lennox Lewis was meant to fight Tommy Morrison in what, 93, 94, until Morrison lost. And then Lennox Lewis, who was he meant to fight? Was he meant to fight Bo? And then he got knocked out. And then Bo ended up having those really close decisions with Galata, and he retired then. You know, that's what was happening. It wasn't that they didn't want to fight. They did, but they were just losing. Whereas these guys, it's just like, I'll fight Mr. So-and-so, but you need to cross the street. It's like, come on. Tio didn't win the fight. That was a gift decision. I thought Tio won the fight, to be fair, but the 119-109 scorecard was a complete joke. I mean, to say Lomachenko won one round is a joke. That was a horrible scorecard. Dave is the most punchy 28-year-old I've ever seen. It's mad to think that he looks older. And Dave Allen, I think, said before that he doesn't drink alcohol. But he looks so much older than 28. Like, I mean, like, put it like this, right? I'm 27 years old. I'm not 28 until October. And I was still getting ideas when I was like 23, 24 and off licenses. But Dave Allen, like, God only knows, like, he's just, I don't get it. It's bizarre. Look at that, right? We have 106 people in the building and 106 likes. That's what you call consistency. Like, if anyone has OCD, then they would be just having a wet dream right now. 106, even number of likes to views. That's what you call. That's what you call consistency. If you get bested by David Price, it's time to retire. Pricey has talent there, but he doesn't have the mentality. And Pricey, like, he should have beat Christian Hammer, should have beat Tony Thompson. He just capitulated in those fights. Will Pricey fight again? I reckon he will. He got lost the hype when he got schooled by Price. A lot of people were picking Price to win that, to be fair. A lot of people were actually picking Price to win that, to be fair. It's just the fact that I think that We just thought he was further gone than he was, but that was a good win. Like, by his standards anyway, it was he didn't put a foot wrong in that fight, David Price. And then he got blasted out by Chisora. He's not fought since. Pricey's a guilty pleasure. Like, I mean, come on, right there. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Imagine that. Who wouldn't want to see Pricey have one last hurrah? Him in that suit. Pricey in that suit. Who wouldn't want to see that? Apparently, Dave Allen is thinking of fighting. Oh, yes, the Frank Warren prospect who's up and coming. Even that, I think, is dangerous at this stage for Dave Allen. Seriously. Even that, I think, is dangerous at this stage for Dave Allen. Now, that guy's not fought anybody of note, but even that, I think, is a bit... It's dangerous, basically, for Dave Allen at this stage. And Babbage, someone like Alan Babbage. I like Alan Babbage. I think he's going to get... I wouldn't mind seeing Babbage versus Nick Webb. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. I'd actually give Nick Webb quite a good shot in that fight. And I like Alan Babbage, but I'd definitely give Nick Webb a shot in that fight, definitely. Who are they? I will learn. Whatever. I remember that video from Tyen Boot. Remember that video well. Yeah, that was funny. Remember he said Umar or what was it? Umar IFL Umar when he became Umar unemployed Umar. That was funny as fuck. Dave Allen should be in the ring. Should never have been in the ring with those. Yeah, a Whyte and AJ should have. That's just Dave Allen for you. Like, I'm convinced he's going to come back 100%. Will I watch it? Probably will. But do I think he should? Definitely not. There's no... Dave Allen should not be anywhere near a boxing ring. That to me is just... It's a recipe for disaster. He's had his day. Just leave it. Just leave it. But he's been hinting at a comeback on Instagram. I suspect he will. Whoever, God only knows. And shout out to Dell Blue Collar Sports TV. Lads and lassies, wait there 2 secs. Big up to Dell. 98 in the chat. If you haven't, there's a link in the description to Dell's channel. 100% go over and give him a subscribe. Great channel. One of my favorites on YouTube. One of the best around. Big up to Blue Collar Sports every time. If you've not, give him a sub. One of the best around. But me and him are in a unanimous agreement. If Dave Allen comes back, that's what we want. Unfinished business. Pay-per-view. Pay-per-view. Dave Allen versus Christopher Lovejoy. Unfinished business. Man, me and you, Dell, if that fight gets announced, right? Me and you, we got to do joint commentary for that fight. And if Lovejoy wins, holy shit, I will paint the town red that night. Seriously, that would be the funniest thing. Me and you, I was only watching your video a few days ago in work when that fight was first announced, and you were having a rant about Lovejoy, and it was so... The 180 me and you have done, I remember you saying that he was an absolute... that this Lovejoy was scraping the bottom of the barrel, and now me and you, we both have a soft spot for him on our channels. It's crazy how much that changed. And shout out to Dan, by the way. Big up to Big Dan. He's the guy who is now looking after me with some thumbnails, and I appreciate that. I like the thumbnail you've done for this. Appreciate that, mate, every time. I don't bet, but I 100% bet if Wilder Whyte gets made, fight is easiest fight there is to predict. I'm going with Wilder to spark Dillian Whyte personally. If that fight gets made, that's serious. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with Deontay. Did I say Dillian Whyte? I hope I didn't say Dillian Whyte. I said Deontay Wilder to spark Dillian Whyte. Probably in the mid. He'd probably be very wary for the first 3 rounds just because he's been out of the ring. But give it about 3-4 rounds, yeah, he's going to get sparked. Definitely. And I don't even think he'd need to land fully. Floyd versus Loma. Sorry, mate, I was clicking on Floyd versus Loma. Floyd, definitely. Too big. Way too big. I think Floyd would just destroy Loma from long range. Just out. Would he stop Loma? No, I don't think he'd stop Lomachenko. But I think that Floyd, just with his superior reach, ring IQ, I think that That's all you need. He'd just be too big, be way too big for Loma, too long, too rangy, probably hit a bit too hard at that weight, would deter Loma. I think he'd just be win a comfortable UD. That's what I think would happen. Anyone bet on Frampton? I was shocked. I didn't bet on it, and I wish I'd had. I would have gone with a Heron on points, though. That's what I picked, was Heron on points. I couldn't get over the fact he was an underdog myself, to be honest with you. It was crazy. I was just so... You see, I think I said at my post-fight that people were looking at the Oquendo fight for Heron, and they were thinking a lot about that. But I was looking at that trainer fight for Frampton, and I was thinking, this guy is not even, probably English level. And Frampton just was seemingly in one gear the whole way through against the guy where, if imagine this was Frampton 2016 fighting that Darren Trainer guy, he would have blown him out of there in 2 or 3 rounds. And I was looking at that and I was like, Frampton is just, it's like he's struggling to go through the gears. So for me, that was an indication that Frampton is on his way out. And I was like, he is not beating Jamal Heron. No way. No matter how bad Heron looked against Oquendo and that Darren Trainer guy, they're chalk and shit, they're night and day. So yeah, he didn't look good against them, but I'd rather not look good against him than not look good against Darren Trainer. Do you know what sort of way? So that for me was where I was like, no, Frampton's not winning this fight. And shout out to Joe every time. Damn, I arrived and the show's almost over. I'll listen back later. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, man, I'm gonna end it in a little bit, but man, I appreciate you dropping by. The main thing is you got in. I got to give you a shout out. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing. So big up to you, man. A big up to Limo. I think I seen you comment earlier, but I just didn't get a chance to read it. Sorry, mate. Big up to you every time. I hope you're having a great Easter and you're enjoying it as well. Should Whyte wait until Fury AJ and then go and take a vacant belt? I reckon they probably will do that, to be honest with you, mate. Because I honestly, I can't see him beating either or. I can't see him either or. Where are we at there? G-Man, do well-developed abdominal muscles really help one taking body shots better? Well, personally, I hate body shots myself. They're horrible. But when I was training in boxing, like, our coach would just adamantly sit-ups, and medicine ball. And you do notice they hurt, irrespective of how good you're. They hurt. But definitely you do notice them a little bit less when you have a lot more strength around there. You do. Because he would send you in to do, if you were out of the gym for a couple of weeks, he would get you body sparring only. And you're going to get some of those body shots through in a body spar. And you do feel them. Once you get the core strength back up, you still feel them. Don't get me wrong. You're always going to, like, a good body shot hurts like hell. I'll just tell you, it really hurts. It hurts really bad for about 20, 30 seconds and then you're fine. Whereas a headshot's more like a jolt. It's more like a shock. You know, that sort of way. Like, it's really kind of, you just hit it, you're like, whoa, and then you're all right. It doesn't hurt. But a body shot, that hurts. You feel it. And I remember I got hit with a body shot once. I got hit just kind of, it's kind of like in the middle of your chest, just below kind of where your abs and chest meet. And I'll never forget it. Literally, my legs, they just felt like they were going to lock. And then within about 30 seconds, I was grand. I was able to move again, but I didn't go down. But I just felt like I can't do anything. So it hurt like hell. Yes, G-Man, big up, big up. I'm glad you're locked in. But yeah, that's my comment on that. They do definitely help. 100%. 100%. A lot of people, see, a lot of modern coaches, not boxing coaches, are against traditional, like, sit-ups and stuff like that. Me personally, I find that if you're a boxer, sit-ups are a must. They really truly are. Sit-ups are a must. Getting, like, plank and stuff like that, just kind of those basic core exercises are a must. A lot of them will tell you now, like, just not boxing coaches, just normal coaches, some of them call them shit-ups, but what they're doing is for show in terms of aesthetically. Like, they're not going to take a shot or anything like that. You know, could you imagine? So I maintain that you know, I stand by it. And I stand by road. See, I've said it before, so I'm very old school. Road work, sit-ups, good things like that, and functional training. I'm not talking about lifting weights. I'm talking about lifting concrete and stuff like that. I have a friend who, when he used to box, he got like a little, it's like what painters wear when they're kind of, what's it called? It's like when you're on a scaffold or something, but you're dangling. He got one of them and would hook it up to his car, and he would just pull the car along, push it back and pull it for his physical strength. And he said it did benefit you. Like, you felt it in sparring. Like he said, if you had, and he was a heavyweight, and he goes, if you're pulling a, God knows, nearly 2-ton Jeep, right, and you're pushing it back and you're pulling it, well, when you get into the ring, 100 kg guy who's pushing on you, it's not going to feel nowhere near as heavy as it would if you're pulling a 2-ton Jeep. So he said, it was the massive benefit from that, more so than he ever did from lifting weights. So, and I stand by all these old school techniques personally. I stand by them. I believe in them. And I believe that for punching power, it's not feasible for a lot of people, but I maintain that my jab was never as good as when I started chopping wood. Like, going out, because in Ireland there's lots of trees, getting an axe and just chopping away, rotating it. I never felt my jab as poppy or as sharp as when I was doing that. And I haven't done it in about 2 years, but when I felt that it really helped improve your jab. You could really feel the little extra snap in it. And it's good training in general. Good training in general. Jamie, what do you think of the physique of the great Marvin Hagler? One of the best. Marvin Hagler, they were the kind of the physiques you wanted back then. Yes, G-Man, hope you're good, bro. Yeah, I am. It is. Do you think Dillian Whyte will fight Bryan in the summer? If he wins, does that give him a legitimate belt? I don't rate it personally, mate, the regular. But if he wants an easy touch against Bryan, they can sell it as a world title, go for it. But I personally, I don't count that, mate, honestly. If Frampton beats Herring, would Frampton still have called it a day? That's a good question. I don't know. I suspect he probably would have. I think he would have. I think he probably would have dedicated it. I think he would have done the exact same thing, but he would have just went out on top. I suspect he probably would have, especially if it was a hard fight. Foreman said the jab to the body would be even better if it hits up close to the heart. Yeah, there's a little, like, kind of literally up close to the heart. Is they say if you get hit there, it hurts like hell. It hurts like hell. Someone also said, yeah, where was that? Click back on that. Nutritionists, are they legit in boxing or striving for a living? Well, I've had friends who are boxers who've come out and said that before fights they were doing fine, they felt grand up until the fight, and then they went to a nutritionist and they said, oh, you need to do this, and they've listened to the nutritionist, done it, and they felt shocking in camp. They felt shocking in the ring, I should say. And I remember once, this was in 2019, I spoke to the trainer and he said, I told my fighter repeatedly, don't listen to the fucking nutritionist. I've been around boxing for God knows how many years. I know what's best. And he fucking listened to him. And guess what? He was out of gas after 3 rounds. So I was like, right. And he goes, look at fighters from the 70s, 80s. They didn't have much stamina issue. Some of them had drink and drug problems, admittedly. But were they listening to nutritionists? No. I think you need to just... The old school is there. And that's the thing. I like the old school ways. For me personally, is the best way. That's a good point, IDS. I don't hear many punches to the chest. It's actually very effective. Look at Kovalev's jab to the chest against Yard. The jab to the chest is underrated. Like, it really is. It's very underrated. I think people focus more so on the body. But yeah, if you go between kind of where your chest ends and your abs kind of should start, there's a little gap in there. I was always told in the gym, if you hit someone there, it hits them like a ton of bricks if you catch them just right. And I seen Dell put in that question earlier. I find it interesting that oh, you're asking Beterbiev. I thought you were asking about Smith. I thought you were asking about Vlasov. I seen that Vlasov said that when he got tested by his own doctor in the lead up to that fight, it was negative. So he reckons Top Rank were trying their best to give Joe Smith more time. It's interesting. That's what he says. He said when he got back in Russia, or something like that, to that effect, that he was fine and it was the same test or something like that. So he reckons that they're trying to give Joe Smith more time. Maybe Joe Smith didn't have a good camp. It's an interesting one. I'm looking forward to that fight. I think it's a great fight. Exactly. That is spot on. Frazier could do 15 rounds on steak and potatoes. Marciano used to eat 3 pounds of steak, potatoes, and greens a day, and he could do 15 rounds, no problem. But today, oh no, there's too many carbs, there's too much this, there's too much. And how are you feeling? Yeah, I'm fucked. How many rounds are you in? About 5 rounds in of no gas. And yet he's throwing 100 punches around in the 1950s and he's eating steak and whatever. Crazy. People still think Loma is a hype job. The guy is the second best in the division. Again, like Fury Wilder, Lopez beat Loma, not Haney, not Garcia. Yeah, like Loma to me beats Haney. He beats Gervonta Davis. I'd still pick him. And I would still pick him. I'd pick him against all three. Seriously. Lopez to me, you could just see Lopez from early on. He was going to be the best. He was going to be very good. But I didn't think he'd beat Lomachenko, to be honest with you. He did. He proved me wrong. Fair play. A lot of nutritionists need to justify it. Yeah, literally. Like a lot. These nutritionists, I swear to God, like when I listen to some of them, I'm just like, what the fuck? And see, some of them can make their fighters look good aesthetically, but they look shocking in the ring. Like James DeGale said he hired a nutritionist for Badu Jack, and he looked probably the best aesthetically. But he lost that fight. It was a draw. He lost that fight. The nutritionist didn't do him good then. He would have been better off just going the normal way. G-Man, Ben Davison has a lot of knowledge for his age. Even Haywood acknowledges him and looked and not. Yeah, Ben Davison, like I've said this for a while. Ben Davison is a good trainer. He is. And now that he has his own stable with Lee Wood, Lee McGregor, Josh Taylor, to name a few, we're really going to see what he's made of as a trainer. You know, we really are going to see it now. So big up to Ben Davison every time. Lads and lassies, I'm going to call this stream here. All right. I seriously appreciate everyone who locked in. You know, oh, by the way, I don't know if Dale's seen it. Look what, I'll just leave it like here and show you what I have now. Look what your boy got. Be safe. Yeah. Ram A. Nathan. So yeah, I'm going to call it quits here. But lads and lassies, appreciate you all dropping in. It's bank holiday tomorrow, so we'll definitely get some videos out. I'm going to have me some Guinness tonight. You know, I'm going to celebrate Easter with a few glasses of Guinness. And yeah, just going to call it. Yeah, there we go. What do you think of that, lad? Be safe. Rama Nathan. There we go. But yeah, I'm going to relax with a few Guinness and watch a movie. And I just a quick one, right? Has anyone ever seen the video of like Guinness solution? It's like if you get a can of Guinness, it has a little ball in it. But if you get like Guinness solution, okay, it has no ball in it. And if you get like a jewelry cleaner, you pour the glass, you put it in the jewelry cleaner for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and it pretty much kind of makes it go as you would if you were getting it pulled in a bar. It's crazy. One of my friends was showing me on Paddy's Day. Crazy. I have to look at investing in one of them. But if he's cut, big up to Nick every time. And lads and lassies, we'll discuss boxing again, probably on Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday for definite. But for now, lads and lassies, I'll talk to you all. Peace.